Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. This was not a very busy weekend. In fact, if it was not for the Macau festival, I wouldn't even bother talking about it, which is a shame because the Supercars also came to an end for 2024 at Adelaide, and Nitrocross continues to exist at Arizona. And that was everything, but we do have the Macau Grand Prix, GT World Cup and Gaia races, which ended the TCR World Tour for 2024. Not many series still going as we get to year's end. This might be the final motorsport weekend roundup we do for the year, so make sure you subscribe so you get to check out everything else on Frontrunner Motorsport and be ready for the end of 2024 and the start of 2025. With that, let's jump into the video. The Macau Grand Prix Festival was of course the jewel of the weekend. Sadly, it was heavily affected by bad weather and we barely saw the bikes in action at all, outside of about 20 minutes of practice and a brief quali session. Everything else did go ahead, so let's talk about the three main categories for us here at Frontrunner Motorsport. Starting with the Macau Gaia races, first one started with two big crashes and a red flag, but once it got going, it was a very clean run to the flag. Ted Bjork won from Norbert Mikulits. That meant the Hungarian had just 5 points more than the Swede going into the final race. Jan Erleschet and Mikael Azcona had a massively outside chance, but really it was between the two. Unfortunately, the terrible weather on Sunday meant the race was delayed. It finally got going behind the safety car later in the day. Mikulits and Bjork were in the mid-pack, so he didn't really get a fight for the title. Jan Erleschet's terrible season ended with him swiping the barrier. Max Hart parked his damaged Hyundai with a couple of laps to go, and that brought out a safety car, but it didn't change anything. Dusan Borkovic led home a Honda 1-2-3, but Norbert Mikulits wins the World TCR title again. That is a third world title for the Hungarian superstar. Can he win a third in a row in 2025? I wouldn't bet against him. The GT World Cup did get away on time, but it was still very wet and the race started behind the safety car. After a long wait, we got going. Antonio Falchio managed to wiggle past Dries Van Tor, but he needn't have bothered. The gold BMW was soon sliding into the wall and out of the race. We got a three-way battle between Raffaele Marcello, Antonio Falchio and Mario Engel. Sadly, it ended in controversy. Falchio pulled off another A-grade move to take the lead, but Marcello bumped him at Lisboa and they both went down the runoff. That left Mario Engel in the Mercedes to take the win, his fourth win, so he now has more GT wins at Macau than Eduardo Mortara. Good race. The fight at the front was very entertaining. Onto the finale for the weekend, the Formula Regional Grand Prix race. Ugochukwu had done a brilliant job taking pole, keeping it in the qualifying race, and starting at the front for the big one. It started under safety car, which was a shame for me. It was dry enough for a standing start, but given we got a big crash and a red flag shortly after, maybe the safety car start was a good idea. James Wharton crashing out and taking several cars with him. The race had a couple of safety car interventions, but the late crash for Sota Agara meant we had a short sprint to the finish. There was a crash at the restart as everyone bunched up, and that may have been because of Ugochukwu's games at the front. It worked well all race long, but that last one might have had someone casting an eye over it. He needs to be careful. There are race series out there that will absolutely not let that fly. We had a couple of late crashes, including Freddie Slater from 4th after a brilliant drive, but Oliver Gopher couldn't stop Ugochukwu from winning the Macau Grand Prix, the first American to win since Bob Earl in 1981. He's a good driver, and this year's Formula Regional European was a bit of a dud campaign for him. He's made mistakes elsewhere as well, but if he can produce this kind of performance on the regular, then he'll do fine in Formula 3. On to the business of everything else. Supercars was at Adelaide, and Will Brown secured the championship in race 1. It was really boring. Cam Waters and Thomas Randall led early. The 888 engineering cars ended up winning 1-2. Brock Feeney won the race, but it wasn't enough to keep him in the fight. Race 2 started with Matt Payne ending the season in the barrier. A shame as he has been brilliant in 2024. Definitely a future star. That restart led to Brody Kostecki handing over the title to Will Brown whilst punting him around. Cam Waters and Ryan Wood also made contact at around the same time. Tim Slade got turned around by Mark Winterbottom. The former champion was taking part in his final race after seemingly 400 years of racing in the V8 supercars. Celebrating it by hitting Tim Slade is just how he shows affection. And Cooper Murray also ended up in the wall. Overall, a pretty mad restart to the race. It was mostly sensible after that. Brock Feeney had a disastrous pit stop, hitting Mostert and getting a 15-second penalty. Matt Payne was still driving around in his Mad Max nightmare. he got turned around just to add salt to his multiple wounds. Brock Feeney and Chaz Mostert tangled again, Brock Feeney sending Chaz into the wall. All that led to a Will Brown win, somehow. Mostert held on for second to round out a good season for him, and Feeney was dropped to 7th. Entertaining end to the season. The problem is Supercars has been very dull in 2024. Not sure what it is. Maybe it's an unfair balance of performance. Maybe it's something with the aerodynamics of the cars. Maybe it's just been one of those years. But the general consensus I got back from the Bathurst 1000 was a lot of people were bored to death by it. So something needs to change. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What would you change about the V8 Supercars? I am looking forward to Toyota joining the series, and hopefully they'll bring a couple of international drivers with them. Kamui Kobayashi at Bathurst, yes please. So maybe the future is positive. Our final series for this roundup is Nitrocross, just the third round as the series has a way to go yet. It doesn't finish until March 2025, or so we all thought. But this has followed in the footsteps of our electric series, and it's now dead. I'm not surprised. It was significantly worse as an electric series than it was in its original format, and the grid has got smaller, events worse and less exciting. Hopefully it comes back in an improved petrol-powered format, but for now it's just another electric series to add to the list of casualties. So that was all the action from the past weekend's motorsport. My race of the weekend has to be the Macau GT World Cup, with its controversy, drama and some actual overtaking, mostly courtesy of Antonio Falchio. Let me know your race of the weekend in the comments below. Next weekend, Formula 1 is back with the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Can Max Verstappen clinch the title in the City of Sin? World Rally Championship from Japan also comes to an end. Can Thierry Neuville win the championship after coming close so many times before? And we also have Stock Car Brazil. Felipe Massa leading that championship. Can he take a first title for over 2 decades? So, that is all the excitement to come. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a good one.